Hello, this is FoodOffensive.com's weekly video update, and I'm broadcasting here from a major store here, Littleton's Finest clothing and apparel and sporting goods and grocery store. And I am that I've frequented very often when I've done my other videos concerning candy and pointing out products that we should be avoiding but are so rampant among what we have options to buy. So I'm here just mere moments, a couple days away from Halloween. By the looks of it, the exact moment that everyone's been waiting for all year. I mean, this next to Christmas, I haven't seen the store this busy even on a Saturday, and it's Monday night here, trying to rush home after work. But basically, we're going to be looking at all the food here. But Halloween this year is going to be the most money spent on Halloween yet. It's going to be about $8 billion. And it says that this is Halloween spending is one of the few spending categories that bounces back after a recession. So, I think it was last year's $71 and some odd cents per person was spent for Easter amongst Americans, and this year they're looking at $79 and some odd cents being spent per person. So, of course, people, complain about not being able to afford health insurance or not being able to afford gas or not being able to afford a healthier food for their family, but yet here they are just spending galore, and especially buying some of the very junk that they shouldn't be eating. And of course, if you live in the city, I know at least in the Denver metro area, it seems like every former Circuit City building, every former big clothing store, whatever it was that closed down inside of a strip mall, there's now a Halloween store there, and it's been there. And I'm not against dressing up and having fun, but give me a break. Whenever everybody's broke, you're spending $50, $60, $70 on a costume, and then $79 per person is what this article says that I have here from Time Magazine, Time.com, touting this year's spending being greater than anything else. And so, as far as Halloween spending goes, $8 billion. As if there wasn't anything better to spend money on. But I'm going to go and look through the store, look at the various products here, and then we'll come right back after we've looked at a few items as a part of a conclusion here. So I'm browsing the aisle here, looking at all the goodies. It's all the same culprits. It's the same things that is in, around every holiday. All they do sometimes is change the packaging, or they just don't change anything at all. It's just always the same thing. So, you might have seen some of this in my other videos, but I just point out the different ingredients here. Of course, soy lecithin, artificial flavorings, all kinds of corn syrup in there. Of course, the soy lecithin is the big one. It's in everything. It's in all the chocolates that's used to cut the cocoa butter for cost effectiveness. And of course, these M&Ms here are colored, so they have all the different gamut. It runs the gamut of coloring here. You've got yellow number 5, and of course yellow 5 is linked to all kinds of issues. And it seems like a lot of these things here are worse in kids. Well, guess who eats all this crap, especially at Halloween time? Kids do, and so it's got a bigger effect on them. So it's not the greatest thing to be giving them, especially in large amounts that they get during this time of year. And the soy lecithin, of course, there's been breast cancer links to it. Some say there's not enough evidence to support it. Others say that it is, with the estrogen mimickers and things that are in it. But basically, the soy lecithin is a waste residual product from the production of soy oil refining process. It was patented by a German company, and it's also found in baby formula. That's something you want to be giving your kids, is a sludge that's left over from another process, especially a baby. They can't. Some of this stuff, people say, well, it's in such small amounts that it's not going to hurt anything. Well, when you're giving it to little kids, and especially babies, of course, the effects are going to be a lot stronger because they're a smaller body, and they have faster growing cells, faster growing tissues, so the uptake of it is much quicker as well. It causes major problems, and of course also could affect reproduction, increase cancer, affect brain development, so on and so forth. There was a developmental psychobiology research study that concluded that soy lecithin supplementation in early stages of life may lead to behavioral and cerebral abnormalities. So they tested it in rats that were both in utero and very young, and so it showed an increase in those particular subjects, and so it's very disheartening to hear that, and to hear that, of course, the kids that eat it are the ones that are targeted by it and that are causing problems with it. But you got the cookie bites and the various different things. You got the artificial colors and artificial sweeteners and all of this, and these cookie bites, of course, they have the wheat in there, so you're gonna have the genetically modified wheat. It's almost guaranteed, so you got to watch those things. And of course, Reese's is a big problem because it's got peanuts in it. But you can look at all the various things that are in these. The PGPR is another big one that you'll find. That's basically, I said earlier that the soy lecithin was the filler, but it's actually the PGPR. You can see it right there. This one has a lot of things other than the soy lecithin. The PGPR and the TBHQ are big deals. The PGPR, it's short for a long word, but it's been used industry wide at least in the candy making industry since 2006, and it was basically used to switch the cost over, and it's a replacement for cocoa butter, and it maybe not necessarily completely, but at least as a filler and as a stretcher, basically. And there's companies that just make this, to just make that stuff. It's a chemical compound, and of course the FDA has deemed it as generally recognized as safe, or GRAS. You'll see that, and that's just something that they deem safe, but yet there's not enough research to back it up. And so of course, coming down to the candy corn aisle, you can't think of Halloween and fall without thinking of candy corn. And I was buying snacks for work to bag up and use and sell for a fall theme table that we were doing, and I had people ask, why don't you have candy corn out there? Well, the stuff I had out there is bad enough, but this is why. It's got the corn syrup in there. It does have honey. That's a good thing, and but it's got the yellow number 5, the red 3. The yellow 5 is a huge issue, like I referred to earlier, but it can cause a lot of issues. Especially in children, like I said, that are eating these things, and so you gotta look at who we're feeding this to, and it's really a big issue when it comes to the health of our young ones. And who doesn't like candy even as adults, but with children it's even harder. But yeah, basically the yellow number 5 is it's a tartrazine. It's basically a coal tar, and they have it in, I think I've covered it before when I was covering Mountain Dew and sodas and things like that. It's in soft drinks as well. And of course, you can look at all these links that I have in this video if you're listening to watching the video version of this. But there's food colorings, including tartrazine. They can cause behavioral changes in children that include loss of concentration and impulsive, hard to control activity. Well, how many kids do you know that are out of control, or ADHD? And it's a big diagnosis nowadays, and people say, well, kids will be kids. Well, that's to an extent, but when the diagnosis of ADHD is off the chart, of course it's going to raise alarms, at least in me, maybe not in anyone else, but I can find the connection here with this yellow number 5, this coal tar derivative, and they even use it sometimes to feed chickens, and it makes their egg yolks color more yellow and more visually appealing. So this is something that's being fed to us, and I just went to a birthday party and saw some kids that had issues with hyperactivity, and the mother wouldn't let them have the food coloring, and that's why they've actually been told that by doctors and physicians that yes, that is that's why the kid is having issues, and it's from that food dye. And so that's good that at least some professionals are pointing that out. And there's non-chocolate candies like Twizzlers, corn syrup in there, a lot of other things that I would have to even look up. And this one actually has soy lecithin in it also, and that soy lecithin is basically an emulsifier. And I didn't realize Twizzlers had wheat flour in there. I don't know why you would need that, but that's what it is. But you can just see the store here has all kinds of stuff, all kinds of things. There's the store is abuzz today because there's Halloween is right around the corner. But you've got other candies, other chocolates. There's basically anything. Also, that I'm trying to find a Snickers bar that has a bag of Snickers bar, because they have caramel in them, and of course the caramel usually has high fructose corn syrup in it, and that's a problem too. It just says corn syrup. It doesn't say high fructose corn syrup. So maybe that's being done away with a little bit, but I still see it in a lot of items. Obviously, a lot of foods, a lot of drinks. Any processed food is going to have high fructose corn syrup in it. This one has This one has just corn syrup also, but it's got it just does have high fructose corn syrup in it, and so I've looked at that quite extensively in my other videos. But basically, it can cause a study from Princeton showed that it can cause weight gain, and then also some other studies have shown that it can cause cardiovascular disease, fatty liver disease, diabetes, etc. And also the fact that when you're drinking it could cause you to actually eat more than you should. Aspartame does the same thing, but yet everyone says no, it doesn't cause more. It doesn't cause more issues. It doesn't cause diabetes. But look at our society in America here. Look at all the things that are going on health-wise, and you say that there's no problem. Obviously there is. We spend the most on health care than any other country, but yet we're the sickest. We went from being the best in the world at everything good, and now we're the worst. We're the worst at everything good, and the best at everything bad. And so it's not hard to to connect the dots and put two and two together. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I see something that everyone doesn't. But that's why I'm making this video here today, is everyone's shopping for their Halloween candy and getting ready for the big day, and buying more candy than they need and more things than they need, and when it's supposed to be a bad economy, but yet everyone's here. It's a Monday evening and everyone's here. It's as busy as I've seen it on Saturdays. It's pretty crazy. But they spared no space to their normal candy aisle, of course. They still have all their normal stuff, and like I said, it's all the same stuff. It's just different packaging for Easter with the snack size, Halloween, with all the snack size items for the little trick-or-treaters coming by. So that's what we're looking at here. That's what we're facing with this Halloween Candy Exposed episode. And so here we are. I'm kind of tucked away in a corner because, as you've probably seen in my other pictures, they're still stocking the candy. It's a month ago it was this full, and it's still this full now. But I was in here about a week ago, and it was almost empty. So they're getting geared back up for Halloween, and people are buying all kinds of candies and treats and filling their baskets with all these candies. I'm looking at baskets that have $20, $30, $40 worth of these candies in there, and even if the stuff was healthy for you, what's the point unless you're okay in this economy? That's great, spend at your will, it's your money. But getting onto the food part of it, getting onto the health and safety and the consumer safety part of it, and that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm covering, is the fact that look at all this stuff. You just saw it all. It had, everything with chocolate has the soy lecithin in it, and you can say, well, it's not that much. It's some packages listed at the end, meaning that there's not much there. There's not much in there. But think about the culmination of all this and the accumulation of all the stuff that you've eaten containing soy lecithin in it. And again, like I pointed out in the video, when you take into account children that are eating this candy, they're getting big baskets of it, and that's just what the parents know that they have. And so you can only control what I guess they have, and they're just eating all of this stuff, and it's more of an issue for them than adults. But as far as it goes, when you eat candy bar after candy bar that has the soy lecithin in it, at some point it's gonna could cause ill effects, and obviously you're not going to drop over dead immediately. But if you were to drop over dead immediately, then there would be cause for concern. But if it's a slow kill, then you won't even know what hit you, and people will say, oh, well, they died of this, and this, or everything causes cancer. It's okay. Everyone just gets it nowadays. It's no big deal. Give more money to the cancer industry. Buy more pink things during this month of October that I didn't even get to cover, the whole fraud that is the Susan G. Komen, and I'm sure they do some good things, but the fact that all the money spent on marketing and all the bandwagon companies getting on board with the, quote, what they call, quote, pink washing, with a pink ribbon on everything, and all the pink license plates here in Colorado that you can get, the novelty plates, and when, pushing for mammograms and things, when those are actually increase the risk of cancer. And let's look at the cause of it. Let's look at, instead of just the cure, I'm all for a cure for people that have it, but let's try to wait and see. Instead of waiting and seeing how we can cure it after you have it, let's try and find a cause as well. And I do that through the food. I have a stinking suspicion that it's a lot of it has to do with what we're eating. And so a lot of things we looked at today are seen to have to cause that, such as the soy lecithin, and you got the PGPR and all this junk. A lot of it is just byproducts of another industry that they have been able to find someone to buy it, to sell it. Instead of paying to get rid of it and dispose it, they actually found someone that will buy it from them. I mean, that is a business plan, made in heaven as far as money making goes. So if you can do that, then they obviously don't care about health and about the consumer's health. But hopefully you'll take a look at some of these things. And of course, obviously I still eat some of these things sometimes if someone gives them to me. We had some of those fun-sized Snicker bars in our house for about a week. There was a few of them in there, and I had one a day for a week, and obviously that's terrible, but it was there, and I had quite the sweet tooth after I eat, so I try to do that. And so it's obviously not very good, but the amount of organics and the amount of healthy food that I eat, hopefully that counterbalances it. But people that eat this stuff all the time and give their kids this stuff, and when the Snicker bar says hungry, why wait? When you're eating something like that instead of, or in lieu of a healthy snack to curb your diet before your lunch, well, why are you hungry in the first place? It's because the junk you already ate that day, it has not enough nutrients to give your body what it needs, so it's wanting more. So you're going to feed it something like a Snickers bar that's even worse. So that's my view on that. But of course, I wouldn't feed this to my daughter. We had one of these Reese's peanut butter cups in the house, and she grabbed it and she was trying to bite even through the package. And at 19 months old, I'm not going to allow her to eat that, so I traded her. I found a healthy snack really fast and traded with her. She didn't really care any difference, but when they get the taste of this chocolate and the sweetness, I mean, Reese's peanut butter cups, it doesn't get any better than that as far as processed candy goes. I love them, but I just don't eat them anymore. It's like soda. I have not had a soda in, I can't even recall how long. It's been months, if not a year now. I might have tasted some here and there, but I just don't do it. I just can't do it, and I've made a stand. I've made a stand in my diet, and we buy all organic as much as we can, and we buy only healthy foods, and we've gone vegetarian, and just all the crazy things that I can appear nutty and kooky for. But hey, it's a stance on health, and I hope to not live forever. I don't have that desire, but I don't want to also have cancer for 20 years or pay all my money to the cancer industry or to the health industry because of my poor eating habits, and causing the health insurance for other people to go up because of my my lack of responsibility in my eating. So that's my view on that. And of course, until next time, this is foodoffensive.com coming at you from the front lines of our food supply. Thank you for joining me.